the experience in February was rough. This was actually on the weekend of my birthday, and I did not lose power right away, but I think I lost power a couple of days after the freeze hit. I tried to stay at my house for a few hours until it was unbearable, and it seemed like we weren't getting our power back. I went back to a friend's house who thankfully never lost power, but did lose water. Whole other experience, because it wasn't like we could just go to a grocery store and get water, because every grocery store was cleaned out of everything they had. Not having power to having power for a couple of days to then not having water for a couple of days, and I think over 90% of the city did not have water because it was turned off intentionally. And I remember filling up buckets of water from her pool and her complex to be able to flush the toilet or everything else. And I think we were able to find sparkling water at a gas station, but then even traveling places was really hard because the roads weren't treated and they were still frozen over. So the freeze was rough. Right after the freeze, we hosted a local water and distribution drive in the middle of 5th Ward where the party office is. And we were able to spring back, most of the staff from the freeze the next day or the next week or whatnot. There are folks in 5th Ward and folks in other communities in Houston that didn't have power for weeks or that didn't have water for weeks. So the freeze was not we're inconvenienced for a few days while we're waiting for our utilities to be turned on. Not a great time, and honestly, we're not facing really low temperatures right now, but facing really high temperatures right now, and the power grid might also fail. And I think that, the number of deaths we saw in February would probably be multiplied in 100 and something degree weather in the middle of the summer. I think my apartment was in the 40s before I went to my friend's house. A neighbor of mine never left her house, and she was telling us that they put a tent in their living room for the kids because they thought it was too cold for her kids to sleep in the house. And she had a thermometer in the tent, and the tent got up to like the high 50s, but our houses were pretty cold.
And if we were to say to you, the American dream, what does that mean to Delilah?
This imaginary concept that is very unattainable for folks. I think it's something that is sold to a lot of people who desire to come to America. Maybe people like my dad, maybe immigrants who aren't from here. The American dream is predicated off this belief that anyone in America can make it, and I think how we define make it is different, right? Maybe we say that folks can be successful here, they just get a job, or they can have housing, or access to healthcare, or food and clean water.